Hi, I'm Karen McCarthy, and it's time to Karen-ize. Today is Wednesday. That's the day we talk about spiritual health. Today, we're going to talk about gossip. Um, it's not going to be what you think, though. A gossip, it can break hearts, tear apart relationships, destroy lives. It's usually seen as a very negative thing. Now, I looked up the definition, and it really doesn't have to fall into that category. It said it was casual conversation about others, typically about details that couldn't be confirmed. And that's where the gossip part comes in. I mean, half the time what we hear as gossip is either totally untrue or there's a grain of truth that's been expanded and expanded and expanded until it's not even the same thing. But it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. And I'll tell you, we have some fantastic, uplifting gossip going on about us at all times when we're children of God. So when we know Jesus and we're in that family, of God's family, God loves to brag on us. Now, you know parents, they love to brag on their kids, right? You look at Facebook, they're bragging about their kids all the time. And God's no different. He loves to brag about us. There are a lot of things he says about us. He says we're beautiful, we're unique, we're loved, we're special, we're precious, we're important to him. And one of the things I want to really talk about right now is that he says we are beautiful. And I think are handsome if you're a guy. Especially as women, we sometimes, no, a lot of times struggle with that concept of being beautiful, especially when we look at the media and all the ads and the supermodels and that type of thing. I love now that ads are showing more plus size women or women who aren't perfect, and they're doing less airbrushing, it seems, and that type of thing, because none of us that I know anyway, can live up to that standard of what we see in the models and that type of thing. But we are all beautiful. Now, we may not have that beauty of supermodels, but we're beautiful in our own way. And, here's the thing. The world's standards of beauty change a lot. If you think back, I think it's like the 1700s, maybe it's the 1600s, the Rubenesque paintings. Those women, I would fit in really well. I might even be skinny compared to some of them. They had rolls, they had cellulite. That was considered the standard of beauty then. And I looked it up one time. It's because only the rich could eat well enough to have those rolls. And being rich was a real great sign of prestige. It was a very highly desired quality, which I guess it still is. But back then, they loved the excess body weight because it showed that they were rich. They could afford to indulge themselves. Now they need the chiseled cheekbones and the well-defined abs and the lean legs and all of that in order to be considered truly beautiful in a lot of people's eyes. I've never lived up to that standard, even when I was skinny. And for most of my adult life, I could not gain weight. But I didn't have that body type, that I call it the Barbie doll body type. The skinny waist, the hourglass figure. I didn't have any of that. In fact, I thought something was wrong with me because no matter how hard I worked out, no matter what I did, I could not have that tiny waist. Well, as I got older and started studying, the body and exercise and all that kind of stuff, I realized that I had this body type where between the bottom rib and the top of my hip bone was about that much room. Well, the models with the tiny waist probably had about that much room. So unless I had ribs removed, which people do, there was no way, even at the leanest body weight, that I would ever be able to live up to that standard. And I had to kind of change my perception of what, I just flipped my hair, of what beauty with my body could mean. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but here's the cool thing. God doesn't care about our outward appearance. Excuse me, I've got a tickle. Aside from being healthy, he really doesn't care about our outward appearance. Yes, he wants us to take care of ourselves, that type of thing, but he doesn't have the same standard of beauty. In fact, if you know the story of King David, when King David was still a shepherd, hadn't been anointed as king yet, God sent a prophet to the family, and he was supposed to anoint the future king. And he went through all of these brothers who were like, buff and tall and handsome and strong and all that. And God's like, nope, not that one. And the prophet's like, okay, that one looked like a pretty good king, but okay. And finally, they brought in David from the fields, and he was just this little scrawny shepherd boy. And God's like, yep, that's the one. He said, I look on the inside. You look on the outside. I look on the inside, and I know he is king material. So in First Peter, he also talks about, and it's mostly talking to women right then, but it applies to men too. It says, don't let your beauty be outward stuff. And he talks in the verse about, braiding hair, wearing gold jewelry, putting these beautiful dresses on. That was how they got the physical beauty back then. With us now, it'd be, the great hair, don't get, extensions or whatever if your hair is thin, and the makeup and all of that. Not that that's bad, but don't base your beauty on that, on your outward appearance. But, and I'm going to look here so I get it right, but let it be the hidden person of the heart with the imperishable quality of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is precious in the sight of God. It's the inside, it's our heart, it's our personality that matters. I'll give you an example of this. Back when I was in high school, I was fairly new to the community, and one day, everybody was just abuzz. This one family was moving back, and their daughters would be coming to school again. And everybody was like, they were like really upset. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are these girls like? I was like, ooh, because they were really talking scary things. And I was in study hall, which really was lounge time. We had couches and we had tables, but we had our pop machine, our candy machine, all that. So I was in there, and in walk two of the most beautiful girls I had ever seen in my life. And I found out that's who they had been talking about. And I'm like, wow, how can they say such horrible things about them? They're absolutely gorgeous. Well, they were gorgeous on the outside, but their personalities, not so good. Very, very negative personalities. Very, very not positive, not good, not nice people. Let's just put it that way. And within just a couple of days, I couldn't even see that they were pretty anymore. They didn't even look pretty. And conversely, I've known people that when you first see them, you're like, because they're, some of them are homely, some of them are very ungraceful, awkward, whatever the situation is. They're not real attractive when you first see them. But their personality is so amazing and so beautiful that within minutes, a lot of times, they look very attractive. Their outside appearance hasn't changed. It's your perception of them, because the inside out is showing the beauty. Where when it's outside and not good in, that beauty just kind of fades away. So I hope that makes some sense. One final point though, physical beauty can change. So you can be the most beautiful person in the world. And I hate to say it like this, but you could be in a catastrophic car accident and be totally disfigured in the blink of an eye. And your outward beauty is gone. But if you're beautiful inside, it doesn't matter what happens to the outside of you, you're still beautiful. So make your beauty on the inside out, and it lasts. So I hope that helps you, and I will talk to you on Friday for emotional well-being. Have a great day. Talk to you later.